This is Chris from Select Characters, and I'm joined here today by a guy who's freshly flown in from a land far, far away via the medium of the Fulton, our resident southern farm boy, the man with the plan, Sam Yates. Hi, man.
How y'all doing? What's up?
You've played Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, have you not?
Quite a bit, absolutely.
And I have not played it, so I'm going to play the audience surrogate here, and I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions, and you can sort of persuade me to buy it if you like it, or sort of dissuade me from buying it if you don't like it. How does that sound?
That sounds great. Ask me your questions, Question Master.
So we're going to start with the basics. Metal Gear Solid is now an open world game, or The Phantom Pain is an open world game. Is it a good open world game?
I would say yes. In the sense that an open world game gives you a huge play space with lots of interesting things to do, 100%. However, it is an open world that has very specific nodes and clusters that are much more eventful than others. All the space in between those bases and mission zones, not quite as populated, not quite as interesting, except for geography-wise. But overall, I'd go with yes.
Is it fun to just walk around in the open world, even though not a lot of stuff happens in between bases and stuff?
No, not really. But they mediate that by having these cassette tapes, which is where they hide a lot of the story stuff. So while you're running between things, you kind of play the audio logs and listen to some of the backstory and stuff. So that's a good solution for that problem.
Is that the way that the story is presented to you the most? I mean, Metal Gear Solid is usually very heavy on cutscenes and stuff, but I've heard that it's not the case with this game.
No, not necessarily. I think you get the broad strokes through the cutscenes and the mission intros and outros, but if you want more detail on anything, you're going to have to go into those audio tapes.
Okay, then. So, you would agree with me saying that it's a sandbox. You can approach things in the way that you like. Could you tell me more about that? Like, the way you can approach certain missions and stuff, does it give you more than enough room to be creative?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have certain objectives that you need to complete, and they are going to score you based on what you do and give you a ranking, but generally you have a lot of flexibility within that. So, you know, sneaking up behind somebody and grabbing them gives you the same amount of points as shooting them in the head.
Okay.
But you sort of lose the most points from damage taken and also how long it takes you to do the mission. So really, it doesn't matter if you don't want to be stealthy. You can still go on the attack, and you're only going to lose points for getting shot. So, you know what I mean? That works with both sort of methods.
Yeah. So you sort of touched on this already. So this is a question in two parts. What's the stealth like, and what is the combat like?
The stealth is great.
Yeah?
It is that crouchy, sneaky, exactly the kind of thing you want from a stealth game. It all makes sense. Like, the guards see you when you think they can, and it's got just tons of factors like light and camouflage, all the sort of staples you would want from a stealth game.
Okay.
And
the gunplay?
And it's great because it's dynamic. You know what I mean? The guys will sort of always be in different locations. They have different patrols. You can go at day or night. I mean, yeah, the stealth is great. And the combat is also great. Like, as a shooter, it handles very well as a third-person shooter. The crosshairs make sense. The guns fire. It feels good. And it's, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that. It works really, really well. It's got the hide and cover to rejuvenate your damage thing to it. It makes sense in this game for some reason. Sometimes I don't like it, sometimes I do, but this one, it feels pretty good because you kind of go back into stealth mode.
Right.
It gives you your health back.
Okay. Tell me more about cardboard boxes.
The cardboard box is really great. It's used in like 100 different ways. You can use it to go from waypoint to waypoint. So there's these delivery zones that you get on the zone, you get in your box, and a truck comes and picks you up, and it'll take you wherever you want to go. So that's their like version of the fast travel system. And then it's also a really great stealth tool because you can hide underneath it, and it's kind of hilarious, right?
Yeah. I think the series is like, it's the most known thing about that series apart from the wacky story and the wacky characters. I think that everybody sort of associates Metal Gear Solid with the cardboard box. So I'm glad that it's made its return, and I've seen a couple of augments, if you want to call them that.
Oh yeah, you have to actually like do research and development to upgrade your cardboard box. But it's got a lot of cool interactivity things. You can slap posters on the side of it, like for example of a soldier saluting. So when you stand up, you know, the other guys salute you back.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot to it. It's still pretty funny, and it's still like the iconic kind of linchpin of that series.
Okay, and what about, you know, the cardboard box is a bit wacky, but can you name some some examples of other wacky stuff in that game?
Well, I mean, the Fulton extraction system has got to be the wackiest thing, right? So you attach the balloon to people, objects, weapons, trucks, anything, containers, and it just shoots them into the air on this giant balloon. And it's always funny. And there's an animation even that when you like suck up guys with helmets, that their helmets fall off. So it's like slapstick comedy at its best. That is out of control, but it makes sense within the context of the game world. Like, what's a good way to make people, how do you clean up all these bodies? How do you get this stuff out of the battlefield without having to drag it all the way to the helicopter, without something dumb like where it just scan lines out of existence? It kind of bridges the gap.
Like, how can we do this in the weirdest, wackiest way possible? While still being sort of in-universe. The Fultoning plays into the base building, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The base building's a really unique mechanic. You have your home base, mother base, and you can build levels on all of your different support platforms and stuff. You got research and design and medical, all these different things. And the more staff you put in there, they level up. And those have effects on the game world. So you level up your intel, and then when you're on missions, they'll tell you where guys are. They'll tell you where plants are that you can gather. You upgrade your research and development, and you can, research new, better guns, grenade launchers, new skins for the cardboard boxes, all that stuff. Yeah, there's a whole sort of other system going on over there with that kind of mother base research and design stuff. And it is reflected really well in the game world. As you buy more things, that place gets enormous. Mm-hmm. And as you get more people, you see them walking around, and you salute them and throw them, and they're like, "Thank you, sir."
Morale increased. I saw that in a couple of videos.
Yeah. So it's not like you ever have to think about, do I want to do this or this, and make interesting choices on that side of things. Mm-hmm. It's more like just a constant build up.
Okay.
Which is okay.
About customization, how deep is the customization? Because I've heard things about customizing your own helicopter, customizing the way you look. Even you could even play as different characters, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can take the dudes that you sort of recruit onto your combat team. You can take those guys out into the field instead of Snake.
And those are story tied characters, basically.
If the buddies are story tied characters, so you get one buddy on all your missions, mm-hmm. But you can actually take the rank and file troops out on missions.
Really?
Yep. Okay. Which I normally choose Snake because I think he's cooler. But if you do pick those guys, you can set their outfits and give them little like baklava hats and stuff like that. And they have unique skills, like some of them reload faster, some of them run faster. Mm-hmm. All that kind of thing. But I really just like Snake. I mean, he's the main character, so I don't really have an urge to be one of those other guys.
Fair enough. Every Metal Gear Solid game has its own controversy, and this time the controversy was surrounding Quiet, the buddy. Do you think that is in any way justified?
I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say. If you look at it on its face, it seems kind of dumb, and it seems like it maybe shouldn't be there, but then everything else about that game is so directed and nuanced, and you can see that it is somebody's vision.
Right.
So in this case, I think that was just his vision for that character. So that's what he wanted, and that's what he got. And it just happens to fall into what is now sort of a social taboo of having these over-sexualized female characters. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I mean, I'm not like super jazzed about it, like, whoa, look, boobies, right? But I think that it's just what the creator wanted. I don't think it's a pandering thing. I don't think they're trying to draw in a certain demographic by having a good-looking lady in there.
Right. And talking about a vision or visions, did Kojima make a really, really good Metal Gear Solid game? Is this the definitive Metal Gear Solid game instead of just the Swan Song?
I would not be the person to ask that question. I've only played the very first one for the PlayStation, and then this one. I haven't played any of the ones in the middle.
Okay, so do you have trouble understanding the story in any way, shape, or form if you haven't played the other ones, or you have played one of them, but that was a long time ago?
I haven't really had too much trouble. The story itself seems to be self-contained, mm-hmm. As far as what you do in the events of this game and the missions you go through and the characters you interact with. I think that a lot of that stuff might be callbacks or references to the previous games,
right.
But it still works outside of that context because you're just looking at that person as a character instead of going, oh, hey, there's that character I know.
Okay. Then I've got one last question, or if you want to add something, you can, obviously, but I think we know enough. Is this a must-buy for gamers?
I think it absolutely is. It's a must-buy because it's doing things that you're not seeing in the big budget titles right now. It is unique and variety to an extreme that you want another word beyond variety. It's meticulous and it's nuanced, and there's so much going on inside this game, and it changes its pacing and it changes itself like numerous times as you go through the game. And you just don't see that kind of thing anywhere else. You don't see that attention to detail. And I think just to see what games can be, because you're seeing innovation that normally only takes place in smaller indie titles, but like writ large on like millions and millions of dollars, and it's phenomenal.
Well, there you go. Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain gets the Select Characters seal of approval. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give us a like, maybe share it around with your buddies, and subscribe if you like our content, because we're doing stuff like this all the time. My name was Chris Anderson for Select Characters. Was joined here by Sam Yates. We'll see you next time.
Have a good one.